Hi, I'm Brian, and this $100 bill is my special retirement fund guarantee. You see, if you have at least $30,000 in your retirement nest egg right now, and by the end of this video, you can't see how you can recover at least $100,000 that you're leaving on the table, then I want to give you $100 of my own money for wasting your time. This way, there's no risk for you. So watch and listen to this short story to discover how John was able to retire early at just 51. On a beautiful late spring afternoon 30 years ago, John and Matt graduated from the same college. They were very much alike. Both had been better than average students, both were personable, and both, as young college graduates are, were filled with ambitious dreams for the future. Now, recently John told me that he returned to college for his 30th reunion. He got to see his old friend Matt again, and they were still very much alike. Both were happily married, both had 3 children, and both, it turned out, had gone to work for the same company after graduation, making roughly the same salary. But there was a big difference. John was retired and Matt wasn't. In fact, Matt didn't even think retiring was a possibility. So what made the difference? How come John was able to retire and Matt wasn't even close? It wasn't a difference in talent or dedication. It wasn't that John wanted to retire early and that Matt didn't. Actually, the difference lies in one simple thing: knowledge. John wasn't content with the generic poor investment advice being thrown around by investment gurus and decided to find better solutions. In this case, it came down to doing 3 things differently than most people. And I'll explain exactly what those 3 things are in this video so that you can add an extra $100,000 at least to your retirement nest egg and retire early, just like John did. Now, before I tell you what those three things are, I want to tell you there's nothing for sale in this video. So keep watching, because in this video, not only are you going to discover the secret to retiring on time or even early and how to make sure that you and your family are taken care of when you do, I'll also reveal how to live a better retirement, doing more of the things that you deserve to do after working for so long. And you're going to do it faster and with less risk than you do it by investing in whatever it is that you're investing in right now, all with no more effort than investing in tired old stocks and mutual funds would require. That means you won't have to worry anymore about struggling like you're seeing some of your friends and family members do right now. The bottom line, if you stick with me for the next few minutes, I'm going to reveal how you can use a simple cutting-edge strategy to investing that will allow you to take control of your future, even if you have no investing experience. Cool? My name is Brian Bagnall, and I'm the founder of a company called HelpRetire.com. We specialize in helping the average person get double-digit returns on their investments and take advantage of cash-flowing assets that replace and often exceed their paycheck from work. My book, The Happy Investor, is a bestseller and was named one of the top 3 books on investing by the Bestseller Book Review. The most important thing you need to know about us is that what we teach is what we do. Every word of the strategies I'm about to share with you, I use in my own investment portfolio, and they work very, very well. You see, about 7 years ago, I took $250,000 from my retirement accounts and put it into cash-flowing assets and continue to reinvest the profits. Right now, I'm making $45.83 a month in cash flow and have over $510,000 in cash and equity. Now, when I retire, which is 13 years from now, I'll be getting $18,333 a month in cash flow and have over $2 million in cash and equity. Now, I know these things might seem like crazy numbers right now, but here's what I want you to understand. The same strategy you're about to learn is what got me there, and it's the same strategy that allowed John to retire while Matt still works. So whatever your income goal is, it's all the same strategy. If you want to meet your retirement goals fast, this is the way to do it. If you're like most people watching this right now, you might be facing some huge challenges when it comes to your retirement investing. Consider this. Do you keep trying to do what you're, quote, supposed to do when it comes to investing by investing in stocks and mutual funds, but feeling that you're not getting anywhere? Do you worry about not being able to retire on time or at all, or about having to work a job during retirement, or about being a burden to your family in your older years? Do you worry about whether the next market downturn is going to cut your 401k in half? Do you keep avoiding your monthly investment statements because you know you're behind on funding your retirement, hoping that you'll have a windfall year next year? Do you see other people that are better off than you, even though you know you're smarter than them, but you just have no idea how they're doing it? If any of that sounds like you, you're in good company. I had all those same problems too. And in a few minutes, I'll reveal the 3 tips that will overcome these problems for once and for all. But here's the thing. If that's where you're at right now, it's actually not your fault. You have these problems because you've been fed a steady diet of lies, misinformation, half-truths, and strategies that just plain don't work. And I know that's true because when I first started investing, I heard the exact same lies too. One big lie you've probably been told is this: investing in stocks and mutual funds is the only way to secure your retirement. You've probably been told to accept the abysmal 6.3% returns that stocks and mutual funds have historically provided. Even Warren Buffett agrees. He told he told Bloomberg investors in U.S. stocks should expect a return of about 6 to 7% a year, and people who are looking for double those gains are dreaming. Another big lie is that if you work hard and are loyal to your company for many years, their pension will take care of you, or that Social Security will be there for you. All that may have worked for your parents and your grandparents, but it doesn't work anymore. I call this the hope and pray method. You hope and pray that what the masses are doing is going to work, even though all the evidence you see says that it's not. I get it. It's hard to go against the pack. It's kind of hardwired in to do what everyone else is doing, even if the pack is heading for disaster. So if those strategies that everyone else is using don't work, then what does? Turns out there's a better, simpler, faster way. You might think you've seen it all or tried it all when it comes to retirement investing, but I can guarantee you've never seen anything quite like what I'm about to show you today. These few simple techniques can add a decade or more of additional retirement income by discovering what Wall Street, your custodian, and your financial planner don't want you to know. Now, 2 of these principles might even sound too simple, but don't let their simplicity fool you. When I fully understood these 3 concepts, it blew the doors off of everything else I thought I knew. Here are the 3 techniques John used to retire early and why Matt didn't even consider retiring in the first place. Number 1, increase the rate of return on your investments, which has a much bigger impact than most people realize. Back to the story of John and Matt. Both of these 2 men graduated at age 21. They took the next 10 years accumulating $150,000 each in their retirement accounts. You could have more or less money than this example or more or less time to retire. It doesn't matter. It's about the principles. Now at age 31, they each invested their money for the next 20 years. Matt invested his money into stocks and mutual funds and was making 6.3% returns, which is normal as we talked about earlier. And John invested his money into cash flowing assets, making 11% returns. Here's what it looks like at the end of 20 years. Matt was making 6.3% returns at the end. His $150,000 turned into $509,000. John invested his $150,000, making 11% returns. At the end, he had $1.15 million. That's a difference of over $642,000. The only difference being the rate of return and what they invested in. Now, with a higher rate of return, you'd be able to hit your income goals much faster, wouldn't you? Of course. But wait, that doesn't even account for the second retirement killer. Number 2, avoid investments that charge high fees like stocks and mutual funds. If you're investing in stocks or mutual funds, I can almost guarantee you're paying 1 to 3% in fees to your brokerage company, financial advisor, or custodian. These are often hidden and eat away at your nest egg in a big way. Now, according to Forbes, the all-in cost of most investments that they surveyed is an average of 3.17% per year. Tony Robbins really highlights these fees in his new book called Unshakable. And here are the most common fees. You may not have all these. You probably at least have some of them if you're investing in traditional ways. Now, let's look at what the fees actually do. So, Matt had the 6.3% return, and before fees, he had $509,000. Now, fees range anywhere from 1 to 3%. If he had 1% fees, at the end, he'd have $417,000 instead of the $509,000. If he had 2% fees, he'd have $341,000 instead of the $509,000. If he had 3% fees, he'd have $280,000 instead of the $509,000. But John, with the 11% return, the only thing he had was self-directed IRA fees. He didn't have any other nonsense fees that I told you about there. And after all fees deducted for the self-directed IRA, he had $1.1 million. Best case scenario with 1% fees, that's a difference of $686,000. Worst case scenario, if Matt was paying 3% fees, that's a difference of over $800,000. This stuff, the return percentage and the fee percentage makes a huge difference. Now, number 3, you need to invest in cash flowing assets so you don't run out of money during retirement. A cash flowing asset is an asset that you buy that spits out a predictable monthly cash flow. This is much different than stocks and mutual funds, where you're hoping and praying the value of the stock will increase over time. With a cash flowing asset, you don't have to hope and pray that the asset increases in value to meet your retirement goals. Here's how things look when you invest in a cash flowing asset. So let's assume that both men retired at 51, even though we know that Matt wasn't able to do that. But let's assume that both men retired at 51. Doing things the normal way, the way that Matt did things with stocks and mutual funds, making 6.3% returns. Let's say he wanted to take out $10,083 a month for his living expenses. Might be a little high for you. Doesn't matter. It's just an example. Let's assume the best case scenario where he only paid 1% fees and his balance was $417,000 as we talked about. Taking out that $10,083 a month, his money would be gone in 3.9 years. Because when you invest in stocks and mutual funds, the second that you retire, that balance of $417,000 starts to go down. There's less and less money each and every month to make returns on. So your money will always go to zero, usually a lot quicker than you'd hope or like. Now, with John investing in cash flowing assets making 11% returns, when he retires, that cash flowing asset is spitting out $10,083 a month, predictably every month, forever, as long as he doesn't sell the underlying cash flowing asset. So the good news there is his money never disappears. It never goes away. So even if you only took out $5,000 a month, okay, instead of the $10,000 a month, your money would only last 9.3 years. Now, you might be asking, what cash flowing asset did John choose to invest in? Well, the answer is real estate. But don't get scared by the fact that it's real estate and think it might require a lot of work. In fact, everything is as hands-off as investing in stocks and mutual funds. Again, I don't know about you, but having my money grow a lot faster and spend it on a monthly paycheck that continues forever sounds a hell of a lot better than the hope and pray method. So let's take a detailed look at what John did. Remember, he had $150,000 to invest in his IRA account. He transferred his money to a self-directed IRA so that he could invest in real estate. Using the $150,000 in his new self-directed IRA, he bought 3 single-family rentals. So those are kind of pictured here. So each of these rentals spits out $5,500 a year in positive cash flow. That's after all expenses, after property taxes, property management, property insurance, a vacancy and repair reserve. That's after all expenses are taken out, $5,500 a year. So he took his $150,000. He bought 3 of these at $50,000 a piece. And yes, you can buy great rental properties for $50,000 a piece. Maybe not in your local area, but we know where, and we'll let you know. With these 3 properties, he was making $16,500 a year in positive cash flow. It's $5,500 times 3 since he has 3 properties. Now, after 4.2 years after he bought the first 3 properties, just by reinvesting the profits, not by adding any additional money, he was able to buy his 4th property. And after that, he was making $22,000 a year. 2.4 years after he bought his 4th property, he was able to buy his 5th property. He's making $27,500 a year. We're just adding $5,500 every time to this. 1.8 years after he bought his 5th property, he bought his 6th property. He was making $33,000 a year. 1.5 years later, he bought his 7th property. He was making $38,500 a year. 1.4 years later, he bought his 8th property. He was making $44,000 a year. 1.2 years after that, he was able to buy his 9th property. He was making almost $50,000 a year. And a year after that, he was able to buy his 10th property, and he's making $55,000 a year. Now, something cool happened after he bought his 10th property. Every year thereafter, he was able to buy at least 1 new property every single year until he retired. When he retired, he had 22 rental properties, over $121,000 a year in positive cash flow. That comes to over $10,000 a month. Now, that's all just from an initial $150,000 investment to buy 3 properties, and just by reinvesting the profits over the 20-year period, without him lifting a finger, because all the work was done for him. The management company takes care of everything from dealing with maintenance and repairs to finding and screening new tenants to collecting rents and much more. And their fee has already been accounted for in the 11% returns. As I said, that's not even accounting for the appreciation that will most likely happen, but the appreciation is just a bonus. We don't calculate that into the numbers because we can't control it. Plus, there are significant tax advantages too. All those benefits aren't even included in the calculations that you'll see in this video. And since his retirement investing plan was on autopilot, he didn't need to save any more money. So he enjoyed life even when he was still working. Is the power of real estate beginning to set in yet? I hope so. All the recommended properties that we have are in Ohio, which is the best place for rentals. It's a landlord-friendly state with low property taxes and high rents. Remember, the location of the property is irrelevant since professional property management takes care of everything for you. So you won't be be a landlord getting calls at 2 o'clock in the morning to clog a toilet or anything like that. Your only job is to deposit the checks. This is turnkey real estate, properties that are in good condition, rented, and professionally managed. All of our properties go through a 62-point due diligence process, inspection process, and come with a 30-day unconditional warranty that covers everything. In most cities in the U.S., you can't get these kinds of returns. So it's important to live where you want to live, but invest where it makes the most sense and you get the best returns. So let's take a look at how the specific numbers work on a real property. This property is on Grasmere Avenue in Columbus. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath with updates, purchased for $50,000 by one of our clients. It was rented for $760 a month. Expenses are $290 a month, between $299 a month between taxes, insurance, management, repair, vacancy allowance, all that. So Our client was making $461 a month net profit, which is $55.32 a year. So that's an 11.03% net return. If you take 55.32 divided by the total purchase price, you get that 11% returns. Now listen, I know all this sounds really good on paper, but this is the exact investment process that I use. And as you saw, I'll be bringing in over $18,000 a month during retirement. And not only that, but we've also implemented this same process for hundreds of clients: doctors, lawyers, garbage men, teachers, police officers, entrepreneurs, firemen. It works for almost anyone. So now you have a blueprint to successfully invest for retirement. That means you can retire on time or early. You get to do the things during retirement that you want to do with the people that you love. Not too shabby, right? Now, I've shared some big ideas with you here today, and you might be feeling excited, but also a little overwhelmed, and that's normal. And you probably have questions. You might be wondering things like, is investing in turnkey real estate good for my specific situation? Or how much of a monthly check would I receive during retirement? Or how many rental properties would I be able to accumulate? Or how can I get started? If you have those questions, that's great, because it means that you're starting to realize that real estate is a great vehicle to use to secure your retirement. Sure, real estate will allow you to hit your retirement income goals so you can enjoy retirement, but it will also make sure your family is taken care of too. So if you have questions about how it works or how to put these ideas to work for you, don't worry, I've got you covered. The truth is that everyone's situation is at least a little bit different, and I can't answer those questions for you here on this video because I need to know more about you, what's important to you, and the exact vision that you have for your retirement. So here's how I can help. My team and I have set aside some time in the next 24 hours to speak to you personally about how you can apply this investment strategy. Here's how it works. We'll get on the phone together for about 30 minutes. You can tell us all about yourself. Where are you at right now? What return are you getting on your funds? What are your goals for retirement? When do you want to retire? What does your retirement look like for you? On that call, we'll put our heads together and come and help you get clear on three things. Number one, whether real estate is right for you in your specific situation. Number two, specifically in real numbers, what you can expect real estate to do for your retirement. And number three, what your next step should be. If real estate can't help you, we can refer you to other resources that would be a good fit for you too. We're not going to leave you hanging. Now, by the end of the call, I guarantee you'll have more insight and clarity on exactly how to secure your retirement than you've had in years. You'll walk away with a simple, actionable plan that will deliver true financial freedom. This call won't be a full-on sales pitch. It will be valuable to you. The breakthroughs we'll make together on just that one call will be a breath of fresh air. All the confusion you've been stuck on, the contradictory advice people have been giving you, it's all going to disappear. And you'll have total certainty about exactly what you need to do next. The best part, it's absolutely free. There's no charge for the call at all. However, there is a catch. We can't offer this free call to everyone. There are three standards you must meet before you book a call. Number one, this is only for you if you have a minimum of $30,000 in your retirement nest egg to work with, whether that's cash in a checking or savings or money in your retirement accounts like IRAs, that kind of stuff, 401ks. Turnkey properties are an average of $50,000 a piece, but in some cases we can finance $20,000 for you. So that means the minimum required is $30,000. Bank financing is not available. Now, you can use cash from your checking or savings account, any IRA funds, 401ks from an old employer, and 401ks from current employers. The last one, 401k funds from current employers, depends on your employer and how the plan is set up. Number two, you must actually be motivated and ready to make a change and not be paralyzed by action. Number three, you know the power of real estate and are looking for a hands-off investment. This isn't about learning how to flip, wholesale, or rehab real estate. Now, if that's you, look below this video right now, click the green button that says click here to book a free call now. Or open up your browser and head to www.helpfrombrian.com to schedule your free investment boosting session. If the link still works, there's still a spot available, so make sure you grab it. When you click that button, you'll be taken immediately to our calendar page with some available appointment times. Choose whatever appointment time works for you, answer a few questions, and we'll call you right at the time that you choose. It's that simple. Now, because these calls are time consuming, we're only making 10 spots available. If you qualify, make sure you grab your spot now. Now, remember that $100 promise that I made to you earlier in the presentation? Well, I want to double the offer. If you have at least $30,000 in your nest egg and are making less than 11% return on your money right now, I'll guarantee that we can show you how to add a minimum of $200,000 to your retirement nest egg as a result of the call that you never would have had otherwise, or I'll give you $200 of my own money. Now remember, we've helped dozens of clients just like you secure their retirement. All of them scheduled the same appointment you're about to make right now. It was the easiest decision they ever made, and one that ended up putting hundreds of thousands or millions of extra dollars in their pocket. Let me introduce you to some of them. Take John Marist, a garbage man from Chicago, for example. His journey started with a free phone call, too. Here's what he had to say. Wow, I never realized the money I should have been making on my retirement money. And it's ridiculous how simple you made everything. I'm even getting better returns than you advertised. I'm only 39 years old, and my retirement is actually already in sight thanks to you. All this required a leap of faith on my part, but I'm glad I made the jump. I'm even referring my mom over to you next week. Thanks, Brian. Now, John was losing $2,600 every single month that he didn't choose real estate. How much are you leaving on the table? This is Dr. Scott Cole from Florida. Quote, to say that I was nervous about where to put my hard-earned retirement money is an understatement, but the folks that Help Retire took good care of me. Their people and process are top-notch, and I'm getting ready to close on my second property in about a week. I've been referring tons of my family and friends to them, too. Now, we have so many more of these, I can go on all day, but the one thing I want you to know is that all these clients started out in the exact same spot that you are at right now. When you schedule your investment boosting session, you'll be making the same appointment that they did. And that one session put them on the path to changes that brought them great joy, freedom, and security. Now, I can't promise your results will look like theirs, but I can promise you that after one conversation with my team, your understanding of your retirement goals and how to hit your goals will be totally transformed. In fact, the absolute worst case scenario is that you walk away from the call with 10 times the clarity and insight about retirement investing than you have right now. That's easily worth 30 minutes of your time, isn't it? We'd love for you to be our next success story. Book your call now, click the button below, or head to www.helpfrombrian.com and book an appointment.